2 officers hit by gunfire.
According to officials, the gunman, Diogenes Archangel Ortiz, entered UPMC Hospital in York, Pennsylvania around 10:30 a.m., armed with a handgun and zip ties.
He went straight to the ICU, and in the ICU, this individual went and held hostage members of the UPMC staff.
Adding, Ortiz tied the hands of one hospital staff member behind her back as police responded to the scene.
The individual was holding at gunpoint a member of the UPMC staff and ordered the police to get back to behind the doors.
Authorities say Ortiz fired his gun, striking a doctor, nurse, and custodian. As police officers attempted to engage Ortiz, he entered the hallway holding the hostage at gunpoint. An intense firefight ensued, and Ortiz was struck and killed. 3 officers were also hit. Officer Andrew Duarte, a law enforcement veteran, was killed. The shooting sending shockwaves through this quiet community.
The act of extraordinary bravery and courage by the healthcare workers here, by the law enforcement professionals. I know that because of their work, lives were saved today here at UPMC Memorial.
With authorities say no patients were injured and they continue to receive care here at the hospital. Investigators are still searching for a motive. Whit.
All right, Christian Cordero, thank you. Overseas now, and word tonight from the Vatican that Pope Francis is in critical condition after a respiratory crisis. Let's get right to ABC's Marcus Moore in Rome tonight. And Marcus, what more are you learning about the Pope's condition?
With the Vatican says Pope Francis suffered a serious asthma attack and needed extensive oxygen treatment today. He also underwent a blood transfusion to increase the level of red blood cells and platelets in his system. Tonight, the statement is much more concerning than the one the Vatican put out yesterday that had indicated the Pope's condition had slightly improved. Tonight, the Pope remains in critical condition, according to the Vatican, but he is alert and was able to spend part of the day in an armchair. Still, doctors say his prognosis is reserved as Catholics around the globe pray for his recovery. Whit.
Yeah, concerning update today. Okay, Marcus Moore, thank you. We move to politics now, and President Trump speaking publicly for the first time since that Pentagon purge. The president appearing at the Conservative Political Action Conference a short time ago, touting his efforts to cut waste from the federal government during his first month back in office. Here's ABC's senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang.
Tonight, President Trump taking a victory lap, touting his federal firing spree to a crowd of supporters gathered at the Conservative Political Action Conference.
I've ended all of the so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion programs across the entire federal government and the private sector, and notified every single government DEI officer that their job has been deleted. They're gone. They're fired. You're fired. Get out. You're fired.
Praising Elon Musk's campaign to slash government spending and ongoing purge, eliminating thousands of jobs across more than a dozen federal agencies.
And Elon is doing a great job. He's doing a great job. We love Elon, don't we?
And tonight, Elon Musk posing a new ultimatum to federal workers: explain what you've done or resign. Posting on X, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. Failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. Musk giving no details about the criteria or who will judge the responses. ABC News has reached out to the White House for clarification. Trump believes his actions are popular.
And we must be doing something right because we've got the highest poll numbers that I've ever had.
But polls show voters are concerned. A Washington Post Ipsos poll shows 53% of Americans disapprove of what Trump has done since taking office. 57% said Trump has gone beyond his authority as president, and only 34% approve of how Musk has handled his role. Republican lawmakers starting to feel the heat. Angry Americans across the country, from Georgia to Kansas, are pushing back.
We are all freaking pissed off about this. You're going to hear it and feel it.
In a district near Atlanta, Republican Congressman Rich McCormick facing tough questions.
The people would like to know what you, congressmen, and your fellow congressmen are going to do to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House.
And overnight, President Trump firing the nation's top military leadership, ousting General C.Q. Brown as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the nation's top military officer, alongside several other senior leaders. Brown, a four-star fighter pilot, has come under fire as Trump aims to rid the military of leaders who support diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, as Brown and some of the others who were fired had done.
Senior White House correspondent Selena Wang joining us now. And Selena, federal employees are already starting to receive those emails that Elon Musk referenced.
That's right, Whit. Sources tell us that the email asks employees to list 5 bullet points of what they've accomplished in the last week, and it says the deadline to respond is Monday night. Now, the White House says that the agencies will determine the next steps, but still no answers on who will be reading and judging those emails. Whit.
That major shakeup continues. Selena, thank you. Now to the tense negotiations between the U.S. and Ukraine over its war with Russia. The Trump administration demanding access to Ukraine's valuable natural resources as payment for military aid. And tonight, new details about a counter-proposal from Ukraine. ABC's Patrick Reevell reports from Kyiv tonight.
Tonight, President Zelensky under intense pressure, not just from Vladimir Putin, but President Trump. As the war in Ukraine approaches its 3rd anniversary, Ukraine and the U.S. are locked in tense negotiations over a deal that would give the U.S. access to Ukraine's valuable resources. The latest draft would require Ukraine to pay $500 billion to the U.S., paid for by taking 50% of revenues from much of Ukraine's natural resources forever, including oil and gas, as well as ports and other infrastructure.